it feels like we've already done a lot of COVID.
I know.
But
Let's keep moving.
we have more COVID.
Yeah.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19.
COVID-19.
Yes. COVID-19. Do it. COVID-19. Coronavirus.
Vaccine. Number one way.
Do it.
Do it. Okay. Starting off here, we're going over to the DailyCaller.com here. Nice conservative outlet. This was sent to us by Sir Sigra the Beast. Thank you very much, Sir Sigra, for bringing this to our attention. The headline is CDC says natural immunity outperformed vaccines in Delta strain. Okay.
Mine says against Delta strain.
Oh, yeah. Again, what did I say?
In Delta strain.
Oh, against Delta strain. Yes. Okay. So this is fun. One of the biggest pushbacks we get about information regarding, vaccines and Omicron and blah, blah, blah is, it just hasn't been long enough. Well, this is fun because this is Delta strain, which has been around for quite a long time, at least a year. So some new info is coming out from the CDC, came out today. Natural immunity from prior infection granted stronger levels of protection against the Delta variant of COVID-19 than vaccination alone, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said in a study released Wednesday. Before Delta became dominant, individuals who had natural immunity were experiencing higher case rates than individuals who were only vaccinated, the study found. But after Delta took hold, those with natural immunity caught COVID-19 less frequently than those who were only vaccinated. The study examined 4 categories of people, unvaccinated and vaccinated, who survived a previous COVID-19 infection or vaccination, and unvaccinated and vaccinated who never had been infected. In California and New York, between May and November 2021, the highest case rates were among those who had neither been vaccinated or previously infected. The most protection against infection and hospitalization was in those who had both been vaccinated and survived an earlier bout with the virus. The agency cautioned that the data in question only measured results against the Delta variant and that Omicron may present new challenges that alter the calculus of natural immunity versus vaccination. That's nice. They're leaving a little, we just don't know about the Omicron, as usual. Biden administration officials and some public health experts have repeatedly downplayed the effectiveness of natural immunity against COVID-19, but this study is only the latest to indicate that recovery from prior infection can at least rival, if not surpass, that offered from vaccination alone. Most research has shown that for maximum protection against reinfection or severe illness, those who were previously infected should still get vaccinated. Many legacy media outlets covered the study by minimizing the finding that natural immunity outperformed vaccines and emphasizing that a combination of both provided the best protection. Headlines from the New York Times, Associated Press, CNN, and others claimed that vaccination offers the best or safest protection, according to the study. In a press call Wednesday, the CDC's Dr. Benjamin Silk, an epidemiologist that co-authored the study. Dr. Silk, did not elaborate on the increased protection natural immunity provides and repeated the administration line that every American should get vaccinated. So the fun little detail, of course, we've heard that, natural infection and vaccination together is the best protection you could possibly have. But what was ignored is that in the study, natural infection alone was rated higher than vaccination alone, which is fun. A fun little detail, especially considering the Djokovic debacle going on, getting kicked out of Australia for 3 years, having natural immunity, but not having, vaccination, but not good enough.
Yeah. I was looking at the study here and it says that before Delta became the predominant variant in June, case rates were higher among persons who survived a previous infection than persons who were vaccinated alone. I thought that was significant for some reason, and I highlighted it for some reason, and I don't know why now.
We'll read it again.
Before Delta became the predominant variant in June.
Hospital rates were highest among persons who were unvaccinated without previous diagnosis. So yeah, unvaccinated, no natural immunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought there was something more significant about that, but for some reason.
Well, somewhere in here, I didn't highlight it, but somewhere in here, wow, this is just a humongous block of text.
I know, it's crazy.
There's no way I can cruise through and pick it out again. But the point being, everybody was reporting that both natural immunity and vaccination is the best, right? Which is funny because if you get vaccinated, you're still going to get sick.
Yeah.
And then you have both. Then you have vaccination and natural immunity. So you're going to get natural immunity no matter what, even if you are vaccinated. But on the scale of worst to best protection, natural immunity rated higher than vaccination alone.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, turns the entire narrative on its head. I mean, they spent 6 months talking about how natural immunity doesn't exist. Good luck. Beautiful thing about and that's the thing about science is you bring this to like a Fauci or a Rochelle Walensky, and they've got the beautiful defense mechanism, which is true when it comes to true science, the system of science, not the aristocracy.
Yeah.
Yes, the practice of science is you can always get more information later. The problem is when you're making worldwide decisions take away people's autonomy over their own body and lie to them for years. Years you're lying to them. And shutting down the entire world and ruining people's lives. And then when you're proven wrong, which other people were trying to tell you the whole time, and you just say, well, we just didn't have it then. We're sorry we ruined the entire world. But now we know. That's just science for you. Which is just infuriating.
Yeah.
So.
Similar to the story here, I guess there was quite the setup from a few days ago. This is from the Herald, Scotland Herald. COVID Scotland, case rates lowest in unvaccinated as double jabbed elderly drive rise in hospital admissions.
Oopsies.
And it says here, double jabbed Scots are now more likely to be admitted to hospital with COVID than the unvaccinated, amid an increase in elderly people falling ill due to waning immunity. It comes amid, quote unquote, weird data showing that case rates have been lower in unvaccinated individuals than the single, double, or even triple jabbed since Omicron became the dominant variant in Scotland. It's just weird data. We don't know what to do with it. The counterintuitive data from Public Health Scotland contradicts previous pandemic trends, which have consistently shown infection, hospitalization, and death rates to be highest among the unvaccinated. However, one expert stressed that the patterns probably reflect factors such as Omicron initially transmitting in more affluent communities. Quote, it does appear weird until you start breaking things down, said Professor Rowland Cow, chair of veterinary epidemiology and data science at Edinburgh University. According to the latest PHS report, the COVID death rate has been consistently higher since December 4th in the double jabbed compared to the unvaccinated, but much lower in the triple jabbed. Aha!
Oh. What in the world?
Okay, so
if you're double jabbed, you die more than unjabbed.
But if you're triple jabbed, then oh my gosh, this is
what
ridiculous.
That speaks to? That speaks to the immune dependency thing.
It does.
Because if you have the two jabs,
you're waning immunity.
You've likely had them for coming up on a year or something.
Right.
So
over 6 months,
you're dependent. You're becoming dependent on the vaccination,
like a heroin addict.
Yeah. So if you were never vaccinated, you have higher tolerance. If you got vaccinated a while ago, you better go get your booster, or else you're
worse off than if you were unvaccinated.
Right, worse off than if you had never gotten the shot.
That's what they're saying. Wow, that is, hey, science.
Yeah, I don't know all the ins and outs of the immune dependency thing that's been going around, but I know a lot of smart people are talking about it.
Yeah.
But that sounds like a perfect illustration in the data of the immune dependence.
And they go through and show all the data, and
Science is truth.
oops, that's a late one. To try to leave that little wiggle room of, well, it's science. There's more data can come. We don't know until we know.
We'll see. But it is funny. I mean, it's not funny. It's horrible because you have so many people. I see it on Twitter all the time. I see all sorts of people talking about it. Like, nope, not getting the booster. I'm done. I got the vaccine. That was supposed to fix me. It didn't. I'm done. And now they're sort of getting turned. They're realizing they've been lied to for so long, which is like the worst position to be in, because you've already you're in the system, man.
Yeah.
You're in the system. Possibly if this immune dependency thing is real, you've
taken the blue pill.
Yeah. You bent the knee, you got the vaccine, and now you're in the dependency cycle, and it's probably going to be very hard to get out. Now, we don't know, if you don't keep taking the booster, perhaps you can recover from that sort of dependency. I don't know. Again, I just don't know, but that is possible. We got to wait for the data, Gonz.
Got to wait for the data. Here's a story from CNN. I got a video clip, which actually the video clip was interesting because the story had nothing to do with the video clip, or at least the article from CNN. Omicron might mark the end of COVID-19's pandemic phase unless a certain scenario happened, Fauci says. It goes back to what he said at the World Economic Forum, so we don't have to go through that again. But how they always have a video at the top of the page, and it doesn't always have to do with the headline. That's what this is. This is a 1-year-old getting COVID and CNN reporting on it. And I don't like how the anchor kind of leads on this mom here. But also just have the idea of comorbidities in mind when you watch this as we go through the clip here.
So at the beginning, it was pretty basic. Little cough, little mild, not even a fever. I mean, he did really well. And then all of a sudden, just one night, he just all of a sudden was having more issues to breathe and was struggling more to breathe. So I kind of knew it was time to kind of talk to our pediatrician again and kind of recheck in. And then things just very fastly progressed. Until we ended up having to be transferred down for a possible backup of something called like ECMO, where he might need to be on like a heart and lung machine. So we did end up being able Omaha had a bed for us. And so we were able to come down here, and they truly, honestly have saved our son's life.
What is your message to people who refuse to get vaccinated, who are saying, this is an individual's choice?
It's really hard for me, I think, personally, and then, just how it's all gotten turned a little bit different. But I think just for us to know that there's so many people out there who are trying their hardest and still have done everything right, and it still wasn't enough for us. I'm sure there's a lot of people who were shocked when they found out crew had it, because we weren't out and about. We aren't doing things. Our family all still continues to mask when they're with us. Just different things like that. I just want people to know that it is really serious. And some kid can have a runny nose or a cough, or like for me and you who are vaccinated, it might not hardly seem like anything more than just a common cold. But for kids like crew who have a history of Down syndrome and heart defect and things like that it can be deadly and fatal to these sweet kids who can't do anything about it.
What does that have to do with vaccination?
See, that's what's so weird about this story is they literally had a kid who had heart problems and Down syndrome, who apparently got COVID and, had to get hospitalized and all this. And they're kind of trying to make it like a guilt trip. Oh, if you got the vaccine, you're a good person.
They're blaming it on the unvaccinated.
Yeah, they're trying really hard. I don't think it worked.
Yeah, because the anchor asked specifically about vaccination.
Yep, and what you have on the screen here is the number of deaths and how it's risen this week, and then a tally of the number of people fully vaccinated, 63%. It's like a game show or something. Just all these numbers.
They're just really trying to shoehorn it in there. It's not like the baby could have been vaccinated. Right. Presumably the mom and dad are vaccinated. They did everything right. They don't go out. First of all, where did this baby get COVID? If they really are, it didn't sneak in the door, didn't sneak in through the air ducts or something. There needs to be a person breathing near them for them to get it. Unless, how old was the baby? Is this a new
1?
1. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Unless, where geographically are they?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
If they're in California, it could have just been a nurse in the hospital.
True.
You know?
Omaha, Nebraska, it says.
Okay, well, it's not. That is not California.
It's not California.
Yeah, that is really weird. And them trying to shoehorn in, well, what would you say to the unvaccinated about your baby who got sick?
It's such a weird.
You can even kind of tell she kind of responds like,
that's what I noticed. That's what I picked up on too.
I don't really know.
Like it was such a strong question. Just like, you better say, I think she was even kind of like, everyone's kind of, there's people, different sides, that I think that's kind of what a normal person would respond to, unless you're totally coached up on what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, especially because now, it's even generally accepted by the mainstream corporate media, or at least they can't deny it any longer, that vaccination does not stop the spread. So what would vaccination have to do with this child at all? Unless it's a little bit of an advertisement or a signal for the the trials they're doing now for the really young vaccination. Aren't they doing testing, or it's at the FDA waiting to get approved for 2 to 5 year olds?
Something like that. I don't
Maybe
remember
it's just like, oh man, if only the FDA would hurry up and approve vaccinating 1-year-olds, this wouldn't have happened to this baby who has a history of Down syndrome and
heart problems.
Not sure what a history. I don't think this baby could get the vaccine anyways.
Right. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird.
You have heart problems, you can't get the vaccine.
Yeah, it's weird. I think this mom, thought she was reporting, or at least being interviewed about her son, which she was. And yeah, you don't want to see anybody get sick or any kid get sick or whatever. But yeah, just that anchor is just very aggressive.
Yeah,
agenda?
What would you say to the unvaccinated?
Wow,
I have no idea.
Here's another story. This was following the Houston Methodist Church, who suspended one of the doctors. Apparently, she has come out and has filed a lawsuit against the hospital. And here's the report on it from KPRC2. I did kind of mess with the reporter at the tail end of the clip here. He was breathing really hard. Like, I don't know if he ran to his spot or something like that. And he has a lot of compression. You know how compression sometimes on a microphone, you know this, Basil, because you're like you've done a little mixing. If you put too much compression on a mic, the breathing in can sound just as loud as the voice. So there's a little bit of that going on, but it was just very annoying. But anyway, that's just part from the actual story itself here.
Dr. Mary Bowden announced today, with supporters right behind her, that she plans to file a lawsuit against the hospital system. KPRC2's Mario Diaz live in the Upper Kirby area with this legal move in his high-profile story. Mario?
Daniela, the attorney for Dr. Bowden, reached out to me here in the last 30 minutes. He says that the lawsuit has been filed. This all comes in response to what Dr. Bowden did 2 months ago, and that was speak up and question the way the COVID treatment and vaccination process was being handled.
Doctors can't be scared to question the narrative.
This is the position Dr. Mary Bowden says she and over 16,000 other doctors worldwide have had over COVID vaccines. Part of a shifting movement developing, she says, involving doctors who feel differently about the approach to early COVID treatment.
I think ivermectin needs to stop being such a dirty word. I don't understand why it's such a safe drug. I don't understand how it's become so controversial.
Dr. Bowden believes in ivermectin so much, she had her latest recipient stand beside her at a news conference this morning, fully recovered after recently providing her high-dosage tablets designated for humans.
The only people I work for are my patients.
Yeah, you mean not horse medication?
Yeah, that was funny. And they're showing the B-roll that's running is they're showing Equimax, which is the horse version of. They're showing a picture.
Safe in horses 4 weeks of age and older.
4 weeks of age and older. Contents will treat up to 1,320 pounds of body weight. So he is saying ivermectin Well, the humankind, but showing a picture of the horse paste.
They only have B-roll of the horse stuff. They don't have B-roll.
That's exactly what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Their B-roll database, you search ivermectin, it's all horse paste.
There must be some kind of backroom deal with Equimax. Like, hey, we're going to just, anytime ivermectin comes up, we'll just use your product. So horse owners will be like, oh, yeah, I should.
It's just in the database. Nobody even bothered. None of their cameramen or producers bothered to get any B-roll of human ivermectin. So it's all horse paste. But yeah, you're right. If we would have known, we could have invested in Equimax long ago. But that would have been a nice stock pick.
Yeah.
Ivermectin. I got COVID. Ivermectin. All kinds of meds. Ivermectin. Everything. Ivermectin. Boom, he took ivermectin.
All right, let's continue on with the clip here.
After recently providing her high dosage tablets designated for humans.
The only people I work for are my patients, and I treat them the way I would want to be treated.
Now, 2 months removed from her suspension by Methodist and her resignation for publicly revealing her beliefs surrounding COVID treatments and vaccines, Dr. Bowden announced she is filing a lawsuit against Methodist.
Because they have not responded to my request for information, I've decided to take legal action against Methodist.
The case is to be filed within the next 24 hours, according to Bowden's attorney. And it boils down to Methodist not being transparent over COVID cases and the stats they have compiled involving the vaccine.
2 of their key core values are integrity and accountability, yet they won't share their data with us.
And Houston Methodist had no comment with regards to the pending lawsuit when we reached out to him this afternoon. Now, Dr. Bowden is an ear, nose, and throat specialist, but her practice has transformed a bit during the course of COVID. She tells me that she has helped more than 2,000 patients during this process. I asked her if she has lost any patients during the pandemic. She told me only one. Live in Upper Kirby, Mario Diaz, KPRC2 News.
Sorry, he was breathing really.
Those who are just listening missed the gem of the video, which is every breath this man took. Gonz added a little flair to the video. Very
it's just
funny.
A little zoom in to
just a little zoom in
because it was very loud.
It's like the ivermectin thing. You know, they show the horse paste when he breathes. Yeah, he. You know, I think what it is he's just his brand is the yelling reporter guy,
right?
And, you know,
he was told to be like Alex Jones. Be the straight corporate Alex Jones.
Does have a little bit of that. Maybe he's feeling a little bit of, respiratory distress or something.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Well, that wasn't a bad report. No. I thought it was fair or fairly fair compared to the types of reports that you would usually be getting. This is a local channel, I'm assuming.
So CNBC affiliate, yeah.
Okay.
KPRC, yeah.
Okay, so it's like a local affiliate. So good for them. Interesting.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. It all seems to surround data, access to data. And let me just go to this one before we move on to the other one. Reuters. World Health Organization urges manufacturers to provide COVID-19 vaccine data. Oh my goodness!
Oh, Gonz is having an emergency there. Let me read this a little bit. What is the what's the alert?
Missing endangered elderly.
Oh, that's not good. No. I thought it was going to be another tsunami thing.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean elderly? Are we talking about? Just an elderly old person, or are we talking about like zombies from the ancient?
No, they escaped from the old folks' home.
Yeah, they were bandits of old people.
It was Booster Day. It was Booster Day at the old folks' home, and they had an escapee.
They waved the anti-vax flag and they walked out.
Yeah,
not today.
I've had enough of this. I ain't getting the booster. And Grandpa ran out into the night.
Okay, go ahead.
I hope. I mean, that can be very serious. I don't mean to joke about that. I hope they find who they need to find, unless it's better if they escape. I don't know. I don't know the situation. Okay. Yes. Who urges manufacturers to provide COVID-19 vaccine data?
Huh. Wait, okay. Why is the WHO asking for data? Weird. I thought
The World Health Organization is asking for data. So did they not have data?
Okay. Well,
a World Health Organization committee urged COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers on Tuesday to provide it with the data it requires in order to list their shots for emergency use, saying the delays were affecting equitable vaccine access.
Data.
That is interesting. I did not know the World Health Organization had not yet approved the shots for emergency use. That's what I'm wondering. All the questions. Yeah, so many questions.
Yeah.
An emergency use listing with the UN agency means shots can be shipped to multiple developing nations that rely on WHO guidance for their regulatory decisions. It also allows them to be used by the COVAX vaccine sharing program that aims to ramp up vaccinations in poorer countries. Quote, committee recognizes the challenges posed by some manufacturers' delayed submissions of vaccine data to WHO. The emergency committee said in a statement, urging vaccine producers to supply the data as soon as possible. Good luck, World Health Organization. They'll release the data, but it'll take 75 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, have fun with that. The statement, the outcome of a closed door meeting held last week, did not clarify which manufacturers had not yet submitted the data. A WHO document dated December 23rd listed the Sputnik V vaccine produced by the Gamaleya Institute as having submitted incomplete data. The emergency committee, made up of independent experts, meets every 3 months and makes policy recommendations on key issues relating to the coronavirus pandemic. Blah, blah, blah. It is also the body within the WHO that first declared COVID-19 a global health emergency.
There you go.
Or PHYC, Public Health Emergency of International Concern, in WHO jargon nearly 2 years ago. Its members unanimously agreed last week to maintain the current state of emergency.
See, they're the ones that get to decide if we're in a pandemic or not.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah, that's the committee. It's literally the committee that the entire world looked to, and they said, yes, it's on. It is a global concern. And they don't have any of the vaccine data. That's pretty
Public
strange.
Health Emergency of International Concern, PHYC.
I love how they threw in this Sputnik vaccine.
Yeah, just the Russians.
They're like, we're not going to tell you which vaccine manufacturer hasn't turned in their data, but we will say the Russians gave us incomplete data.
The Russians, but other than that.
So don't think about any of those other criminal organizations.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, we had a couple more COVID stuff, but I think that's a plenty for today.
That's a plenty. We got other stuff to talk about. Yeah. I will say before we move on, we should remind everybody to like and subscribe and turn on notifications.
Ooh.
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.